With the invention of social media, relationships as we know them have changed a lot. And in many ways, you traded physical things for digital. And those things have their pros and cons, but they kind of complicated how we view just normal friendships. Like, think about it. In the near past, all you had to do to hold up a friendship, and I say friendship as in just a normal person that you talk to on the regular, maybe you share some slight details about yourself, but you consider like yourself friendly with them. All you had to do, hold a simple conversation maybe once or twice a week. Maybe you give them your phone number, but for the most part, that's really all you had to do. You could do more, but you could also do much less and still be a friend. But think about it now. You have to do a lot now. In comparison, you have to follow them on all their accounts, be in the group chat, be in the group DM, be on the close friends list, keep a streak active, and have an all-day conversation with people. With all those things I just mentioned, add on top of that the fact that to many people, these things shift. One friend might care that you follow them on Instagram, while the other one might not. One friend might care about Snapchat streaks, the other might hate it. Amplify that by hundreds of people, and you get a ginormous distress ball that you have to manage for normal friends. We're not talking best friends. These are just normal people. Like, that's a lot. The one in the list that I forgot to mention that I want to focus on today is location sharing. The article in question today is, do social media and smartphones make your friendship stronger? And it's kind of a weird article because it's not an article at all. It's really a student opinion of a different article titled How the Find My app became an accidental friendship fixture. That article discusses how location sharing, which was once viewed as a private concern, like always sharing your location, has slowly become a fixture in relationships. But the negatives and the major ones of that are FOMO, like the increased fear of missing out because you'll just look on Snap Maps and see, oh, everyone's in the spot and I'm not and I wasn't told. And it just makes the FOMO even bigger than what it already is, especially for younger high school students or like young adults. But the article is pretty good. You should read it. But it ends with a question, and this is where the student opinion comes in, of like, how do you feel about technology? Primarily, I'm going to assume this is Gen Z millennials because that's what they asked for. It could be whoever, but I'm going to assume that for the sake of this discussion. And the responses were mostly positive, but there's one that stuck out to me, or one convo that stuck out to me, and it's a dude simply asking, why would I want my friends to stalk me? Which is a sentiment that I have, because why would I want my friends to stalk me? The response to that was, it's not about stalking, it's about trust. If the friend group is all doing one thing to better the relationship, and one doesn't, they'll start to distrust you. And they end this, because they go on for a bit, but they end it with, some people may be uncomfortable, but the unfortunate truth is it will strengthen friendships and more than avoid weakening them. And I find that interesting, because if that's the bar for trust, that means privacy is out the window. Because think about it, now the friend group has to know what you're doing both digitally and physically constantly. Like, if you combine all the things you have to do before, of like following them on everything and interacting with all their posts, and now you also share location, that is a lot. And if you break it down and you put it in a different context, you sound like a controlling boyfriend of, hey, I need to know where you're at constantly, and I need to know what you're doing constantly, or else I can't trust you. And that's kind of insane. But I think that's kind of what social media has led us to think of friendships in general. Because online, if I don't see you, you don't exist. Like, if you're not being active online, you kind of don't exist to a lot of people. And before social media, people would just communicate. Like, if you wanted to know where I'm at, you could just text me, hey, where are you at? And if I wanted to tell you, I would. Or if I don't want to tell you, then I just wouldn't tell you. But now, with social media, there's almost like an expectation, especially with more casual ones like Snapchat, to know what you're doing constantly. And I think that is a severe breach of privacy, because that's kind of insane. Because what is your private life anymore? Like, what's the limit? Like, what? I understand for safety, but my argument to that would be, well, then just share your location when you're going somewhere and then you turn it off. But if your requirement is to have it constantly on, at that point, you are just always being watched, and I think that's kind of terrifying. But that's just, my perspective. But my question for the class is, what do you require from a person to be a good social media friend? Not a best friend, just a good social friend. Do they have to follow you on socials? Do they need to share your location constantly? Do they need to keep up snap streaks? Like those kinds of things. And then once you have that list, I want you to take a step back and ask, one, why? And then two, if you had to ask this person, like going up to a friend and saying, hey, for us to be friends, we need to interact with each other constantly, and you need to love everything I do, you need to comment about it, and also, we need to know where we are physically, constantly, 24/7, every time of the day. Could you say that and not feel weird? I don't know. I would feel weird, but that's just me. I'm yapping for it. Oh my God, that's a comfy chair.